There's a scene early on in a new documentary series about the Trump presidency where a group of reporters are huddled around a computer screen in the New York Times Washington office. The journalist at the keyboard wants a word other than extraordinary to describe the latest goings-on in the White House. Up pipes a colleague, but everything is extraordinary. Oh, I know how he feels. It's what every journalist in the nation's capital feels as we cover a story that is as exhausting as it is exhilarating. And this four-parter captures every twist and turn of a head-spinning, white knuckle right at the interface between politics and journalism. The New York Times is Donald Trump's bête noire, variously described by him as failing, sad, dishonest, fake news, phony. This newspaper more than any other comes in for repeated tongue lashings and Twitter blasts, revealing a boiling and bubbling rage of presidential displeasure. His hometown newspaper enrages him like nothing else. And that is because, somewhere in that complex psyche, Donald Trump, it seems, wants to win its approval. It is the girl he's always wanted to impress and seduce. The boy who grew up in Queens with ambitions on the Grey Lady of Manhattan, as the NIT is nicknamed. But this is a paper whose head is not easily turned, and so it keeps rebuffing his advances, keeps printing all the news that is fit to print, and that makes him mad. But while Trump does his best to denigrate the title, filmmaker Liz Garbus goes out of her way to show the human side of the staff tasked with covering him. When you are demonized by the president and called the enemy of the people, I thought it was important to pull back the curtain. They are ordinary people, going to work and doing their jobs, says Garbus. The enemy of the people jibe was, arguably, the most shocking of the accusations made against America's free press. The phrase has echoes of Stalin's Russia and Hitler's Germany, when a declaration of that nature meant a knock on the door and your disappearance to a Siberian salt mine. The event at which Trump made this accusation was a conservative political conference attended by a polite young New York Times correspondent. He was given the sort of welcome a Manchester United fan would be given if he turned up in his side's kit on the Kop at Anfield. The documentary has exceptional access. At one point, a reporter is sitting at her desk waiting for the president to call. He does so much for him never talking to the New York Times. At another moment, we watch as the same journalist, while covering a Trump speech, is phoned with a tip that the president is about to fire his chief of staff via Twitter. And so it comes to pass. The reporter in question is Maggie Haberman, one of the superstars of Trump-era journalism. The former tabloid hack from the New York Post has been following Trump long before he decided to run for president. She describes herself as an accidental journalist who fell in love with the exquisite adrenaline rush. In other scenes, you see her wrestling with conflicting demands, guiltily talking to her kids on the phone as another promise to be home early is broken. Trump seems to need to have the nit to rail against. It gins up his base. The nit is in an absolute purple patch for its journalism as a result of the peculiarities of this presidency, something this documentary captures brilliantly. It's an incredible time to be a journalist in Washington. You might even say extraordinary.